Steve meets with historian Jimmy Devlin to learn more about Chillingham Castle's dark past.
So the Scots are coming from over the border, and where's that? Just over there, right?
Yeah, this would have been their first port of call.
And Wallace did for a time. He took Chillingham, did he not?
Yes, he did in 1297, which infuriated Edward Longshanks, so much so that he took the castle back a year later in 1298.
Being the English, being this close to the Scottish border, was dangerous.
Absolutely.
You wanted to make an impression. You wanted to terrify your enemies.
Of course. And John Sage was put here as a deterrent. He was King Edward's right-hand man. He was injured, and it rendered him unable to fight. And he begged Edward to still be involved in some shape or form.
In punishing the Scots?
Yeah. So what he did was he placed him here in Chillingham Castle and gave him the role of chief torturer.
It staggers my mind to think this is an occupation.
That was his job, to torture the Scots, and that's exactly what he did.
I can't conceive of what it was like.
If you were Scottish coming from over the hills here, this is the first sight that you would see. If you can imagine the amount of hanged bodies that were all the way littered down here.
They hung people down both sides?
Yeah, and when we say hung, it doesn't necessarily mean that you were hung from your neck. You were hung from your ankles, you were hung from the waist, because the screams and everything else that came along was a major deterrent for anybody that wanted to try and enter Chillingham.
Psychological warfare.
You could hear from miles here.
You've got to come down this road, and you're going to see carnage.
So anybody that was coming to Chillingham, they maybe wouldn't see the castle first, but they would certainly hear the screams from those who were hanging from the trees. It's not only just shingle and gravel that's underneath our feet. There's many, many bodies under here too. Only recently, a finger was unearthed.
Wallace himself would have encountered something like this.
Seeing his fellow countrymen hanging from trees, absolutely, yeah. Edward thought that Wallace's death would be enough, that would be it. There would be no more rebellions from the Scots. But unknown to him, it would actually backfire. It enraged the rest of the Scottish people.
It just pissed them off.
Yeah, basically.
You know, Jimmy, I want to thank you for all the information you gave me. Why
Sure.
Sage did what he did, and why Wallace fought so hard for freedom.
Yeah, you're welcome.